Okay, I'll go ahead and open it up.
Frank, on tape, what did you see from the offensive line's performance?
Thought we showed some effectiveness in the run game, especially early on. Obviously, when the game was close, I thought we came out in some 12 personnel, and I thought we did a good job in that, running both inside zone and outside zone. Had a few other different schemed runs in there that I thought the guys executed well. I thought the backs ran hard behind their pads. I thought the tight ends blocked well. Both of them, particularly Tommy, was very aggressive, did a nice job. It was good to have Ian back in there. So that run game effectiveness is definitely something we'll look to build on.
With that said, you went under center a few times and were pretty successful. I think it was like 5 yards a clip. What made you move away from that, and why has that? Do you see that becoming a staple from now on?
So we have plans going in to do all three, under center, pistol, and gun. We adapted and adjusted, for different reasons as the game went on. Some things schematically, other things just to keep it, to change up, other things to play off of, other things we either were doing that game or would plan to do off of it, whether it be play action or something like that.
Do you anticipate any changes to the staff or the lineup as we get into this week?
Have not talked, no staff changes. Have not talked about the lineup. I'll meet with the coaches this afternoon. Just that evaluation is always ongoing. We'll kind of check the injuries here in a couple hours. We always do a meeting on the projected inactives, projected depth chart. That's always a Monday afternoon meeting.
You say no staff changes, and what's your philosophy behind that? Because usually when the team starts off with this record, fans and people from the outside in would want to see a staff change. So why have you made that decision not to go that route?
I believe in our guys strongly. So players and coaches. And so, when it comes to players, you got 53 players, so sometimes you can, we're all one team. So one guy might play more, one guy might play less, but you believe in all those guys. And when it comes to the coaching staff, everybody you got one per position. So, feel great about the staff. We have to, we're always looking to get better, every coach, starting with me, finding ways to get better.
Did you learn any, with that said, I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you learn anything with Marcus last year that maybe you've taken into these first few games with that kind of situation in mind?
Fair question. Not sure I'm prepared to answer that. My thoughts, this year are, hey, I got belief in our guys. Be patient, trust your guys. I think that's the biggest thing. You hired the people that you hired for a reason. You've seen evidence of good stuff. Stick with it. And be patient and believe.
With the offensive struggles over the last 3 or 4 weeks, have you given any thought to bumping somebody like Thomas or Josh upstairs? No. We have Parks Frazier's upstairs. Parks, guys will tell you, is extremely bright. He's in the quarterback room all the time. So, really think for right now that's the best thing. I like our operation. I think our operation on game day has been really good, to be honest with you, as far as coaches' communication, as far as the things that we're talking about. I think that part of it's been good.
Have you had your weekly meeting with David Tepper yet?
No. I mean, right, my normal Monday schedule is morning with the players and coaches, and then usually it's not always the same, but typically it's Monday afternoon, Tuesday. Sometime it varies week to week.
You touched on the effectiveness of the O-line specific to the run game, looking at even stats yesterday. What did you see in terms of what wasn't working or what may be the root cause?
The sacks that we gave up, a couple of them were just their players winning one-on-one matchups. And as we said, they have a couple. Micah Parsons is an elite player, and he won a couple matchups. There were a couple times where we had something, double team scheduled on one, and we didn't kind of get that executed quite right. There was another one where, we had a protection call that went from one thing to another, and probably needed to be in the first one rather than the second one, so it didn't quite get what we wanted. And then at the end of the day, as a play caller, you always want to try to protect the guys too. Like late in the game, we got a bunch of sacks late in the game. I hate getting sacks anytime, but I hate getting sacks late in the game that is not that's not close, because it reflects very poorly, on the offensive line. And so as a play caller, when you get late in the game like that, you want to be smart about it. And we had the one series where we had 3 sacks in a row, where there was 12 minutes to go in the game. It was 30-10, and there was still just enough time in the game where I felt like I had to be aggressive and call passes down the field to see what we could get. It was unfortunate we got 3 consecutive sacks on those 3 plays. But we need to, as a group, players and coaches, do better in that regard.
Any consideration for giving Bryce a week to sit back and watch, let Dalton play, to just for a pause to kind of catch his breath and figure out what's going on here?
Yeah, no consideration to that. Looking back on this tape, he did a lot of good things. It's important for him and for us. He's our leader. He's our leader on offense, and he's gonna help us get to where we want to go.
And on the Tepper thing, the reports out there that you're on the hot seat right now, that can become a distraction to the locker room, to you doing your job. Where do you stand on that? Is that becoming a distraction?
No, I just focused on getting ready for Tennessee. Focused on today, getting into that film, learn from it, learn how we can coach it better, play it better, then quickly get your eyes and ears and everything out towards your next opponent. We talk about in there all the time. This is a week-to-week league, and we all know what we sign up for when we get in this business. So I'm comfortable with that. Just keep working, put your head down, and focus on your work. So I don't think that's not a distraction.
Frank, during the week, it seems like it is a mellow environment in the locker room. Everybody's getting along. There is like a shared vision. But do you think at some point it becomes like it's too comfortable? You talk about the healthy, kind of tension. Do you think there needs to be more tension at 1-9?
I don't. I think, I think coaches and players, there's a lot of honest talk when we turn on the film, and there's a lot of hard coaching, and there's a lot of player to player, and honestly, we start watching a tape, and before we can hold a player accountable, they're holding themselves accountable. I'll show a tape and I'm ready to, I'm getting ready to make some corrections, and before I can even say them, the guys are standing up and call, that's on me, coach. That's and he's telling the whole room, that's on me. I got to do better there. As coaches, I got to do a better job of putting you guys in position on this play right here. We got to coach that better. That little aspect of that play that could have been coached better. That's pretty dynamic, and in a good way, because the guys want to win. The guys are high character guys, willing to take accountability. So I think we have the right amount of healthy tension.
Frank, last week you discussed a rotation at left guard, but snap counts show that you played the starting lineup the entire game.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning, and was there any consideration to switch up personnel?
Excuse me. In game, I always talk with Campy beforehand. Hey, here's a general plan, and we had talked about possible rotation. There was at one point we were going to make a rotation, and then it got later in the game and in the fourth quarter, and so in game like that, I just kind of leave it up to the position coaches. We talk beforehand, spell it out clearly what we're looking for, and then because they're with the guys on the side, they kind of know. And a lot of times, like for example, one of the guys will come up and say, "Hey, I'm going to make this switch," and I'll give them the thumbs up. So that's always kind of a week-to-week thing.
Is Chandler going to still be the starter there?
We haven't talked about that yet.
From the outside looking in, we don't know all the blocking protections. I know critics are going to weigh in on what they see with their eyes. From an interior standpoint, where are you at with those three players?
Listen, I love our group. I love our group, and you know, we're just going to continue. I think and I love Campy and Cougs as the coaches. You know, I think that group is, you know, like I said, we made some good progress in the run game. We just need to translate that to pass protection and find a way to be better pass protectors. So those interior guys did a great job in the run game. Now we just got to get things a little tightened up in the pass game.
While the game was still competitive, there was quite a few penalties that plagued the team. When you're looking at tape, what'd you see there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was a couple bad sequences, and as you said, you know, looking at that tape. I know I mentioned this last night, but looking at it again today, it hurt just as bad today. Where at one point you turn the film on and there's 34 seconds to go in the third quarter, so we're almost in the fourth quarter. The score's 17-10, and they got the ball and it's 3rd and 5. You know, so we make a stop right there, and they're punting to us, and we got the ball. You know, going to try to tie the game, and you know, so the point of that, answering your question, is we had all those penalties earlier on, more than we normally have, and we're still at a 7-point game at the end of the third quarter, with an opportunity to be getting the ball and going and scoring to win, you know, to win the game. But we couldn't get off the field at that one point. Defense has been playing great the whole year. We did need a stop right there. Weren't able to get it. So bad news on the penalties. Good news was we were overcoming that to be in a position to get back in that game and tie that game up.
Let's wrap up with David.
You love your guys up front on your offensive line. I was curious, the pass protection has been an issue all year. What did you see during your evaluation during the offseason of this group that made you believe they can be good pass protectors?
I mean, I think the main thing in the evaluation coming in, when you were looking at the tape from last year, what stuck out was the run game. You know, there was no question about that. We all know that. We all know what this team did in the second half of the season, playing the brand of football that they were playing. It wasn't a bunch of drop back passes, you know, so not as much evidence for that. For, hey, you get a number, you know, you get Bryce Young and you're going to spread it out and, you know, kind of do different things, not play the same brand that we played last year here. But what I saw, there was good evidence. It was just a different style, a different brand of offense.
Frank, is Austin okay? We saw him leave the game briefly.
Yeah, he finished the game. We're going to have to see how he does here. You know, we're getting things checked out, but he did finish the game.
Was that his surgically repaired knee? Or?
It was.
Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Frank.
you.